Power is the ability to influence, control, or direct people, events, or circumstances to achieve desired outcomes. Power in and of itself is not evil. It's people who are evil. Power and money amplifies what you really are.
This is the book that we're going to have a commentary on.
In the 17th century in France, there was a king by the name Louis XIV. Louis XIV was called the Sun King, a young man who had taken the throne from his father. He was a very insecure king, and he was a guy who loved to be the center of all attention. Alikuwa anapenda attention sana. So Louis XIV had a finance minister called Nicolas Fouquet. And that finance minister, there was also a chief minister. I'm forgetting his name, but there was a chief minister who was in charge of, it's just like the prime minister. So Nicolas Fouquet, being the finance minister of Louis XIV, loved lavish lifestyle. He was the guy we talk about who likes to display opulence. He liked opulence, he liked women, he liked parties. And during that time when Louis XIV was a king, Nicolas Fouquet had a lot of connections even outside France. So what he used to do in his connections, he would get and gather money. At that time, France was very financially unstable. So Nicolas Fouquet, using his influence, would go and get money to support France as they are fighting. And he was a very, very important person. He was very highly respected. But he loved to live lavish lifestyle. So one day, this prime minister, who I'm forgetting the name, maybe watacheza na hiyo majina, this prime minister passed on. And since Nicolas Fouquet was very important to the king, he was the guy who used to supply the kingdom with money. He was a very important guy. He expected that he was the guy to take over the throne or to take over the prime minister's position. So Louis XIV, the king, from observation and all those things, and the envy that was coming to Nicolas Fouquet, there was the king's court, and there was the people who were the courtiers in the king. So guys were really very much offended by the lifestyle of Nicolas Fouquet. And so when the prime minister died, Nicolas Fouquet expected to get that position since he was indispensable to the king. He felt so important. He felt like a person who the king really needed. So Louis XIV, being a very insecure king, decided not to promote Nicolas Fouquet, but he decided to abolish that seat entirely. So since he's called, umeniambia anaitwa? Jules Mazarin was the prime minister. Since he died, Nicolas Fouquet Louis XIV being a very insecure king, decided to get rid of that seat. So Nicolas Fouquet being Nicolas Fouquet, akaona, I am falling into bad graces with the king. I have to do something to come back to the king's good graces. He thought that he had fallen out of favor with the king. So what did he decide to do? He decided to go and throw the biggest party French has ever seen. Because he was the finance minister, and by the way, he was stealing money on behalf of Louis XIV. Louis XIV used to use him. As he was gathering money, he would keep some for himself, but also steal money on behalf of the king. So he would fill his pockets and fill the pockets king. But he filled his pockets more than he did the king, hence his lavish lifestyle. So he decided to throw the biggest party in France. He called all the nobilities, people from other kingdoms. They came to France, and the spectacle was amazing. First, they went to the castle that he had built. He had built a castle that had everything. In that castle, by the way, there was the king's chambers. He built even the king's chambers. With the king's throne, it was all gold. It was a room he dedicated right to the king. So what happened when the king came and all the nobilities, everyone was praising Nicolas Fouquet for that particular show of grandeur. It's called grandeur. So when the guys came and he was taking guys in the castle, showing them around, there were fireworks and all that. When King Louis XIV got to his room, the room now that was dedicated to him, it was so magnificent that immediately he entered the room, he got sick. He was so jealous that he got into the room, saw that display of opulence, and he decided that he was sick. He was not going to stay in the party any longer. So he told the guys that I am sick and decided to leave. And he left. And the party continued, and everybody was singing Nicolas Fouquet. 3 weeks later, Nicolas Fouquet was arrested. He was arrested, and there was a commission of inquiry as to where he's getting his money. Remember, I told you he was stealing money on behalf of the king. So the king knew exactly what Nicolas Fouquet was doing. He was arrested, he was charged, tried and charged, and he was exiled in an island where he spent 20 years in prison and died out of solitary confinement. So Louis XIV, the Sun King, got rid of his finance minister, Nicolas Fouquet. What he ended up doing, Louis XIV, because he felt bad that this guy had outshone him, he went and built an even bigger castle. The Versailles Castle. I think Mike anaweza cheza na Versailles Castle tuione. He built an even bigger castle. He employed the person who replaced Nicolas Fouquet, was one of the most boring people in France. He was called Jean-Baptiste. So he brought Jean-Baptiste. Jean-Baptiste was very boring. He was known as someone who never displayed any opulence. And with Jean-Baptiste, Louis XIV made sure that every money that comes into the finance or into the treasury went directly to his hands. And he used that money to build the Versailles Castle. Hence the story of Nicolas Fouquet and King Louis XIV, the Sun King. Yeah.
That is an amazing introduction to law. And so let me just read. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please and impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite, in spite fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. Nicolas Fouquet.
Yeah.
Alienda jela juu ya kurusha bash.
Alienda jela juu ya kujaribu ku please the king.
Imagine trying to impress someone and then they take you to prison. Let's talk about Nicolas Fouquet. Honestly, despite us discussing the law, I honestly see the human nature of us. We humans try to be in good graces with those people who are superior to us.
Yeah.
And we will go above and beyond just to impress them.
Yeah.
Just to impress them.
Yeah.
Now, unlike Louis XIV, King Louis, sa juu mse mwingine amepata attention ni kufunge jela. Yani unasikia, unajua by the way hata sikuwa najua ati alienda kwa throne yake alafu akajifanya kwa mgonjwa.
Akakuwa mgonjwa.
Like this man became sick. Like his his room was too magnificent.
He was so jealous that he became sick. He actually faked, historians say that he faked sickness. But he actually just
He
went
was sick
in.
of jealousy.
Yes, he was sick of jealousy. He went in, saw the room, saw how much Nicolas Fouquet has done. You know, as guys are going room by room, checking over the area, they're giving credit to Nicolas Fouquet. They're saying, man, this guy is good.
And King Louis is just listening.
King Louis is there.
Listening.
Yes, and he loved to be the center of attention. We are doing law number 1. Never outshine your master. I will tell you this for free, with no fear of contradiction. Christian or non-Christian, do not outshine your master. Do not outshine your superiors. It costs you more than you will benefit. Many people have paid their ultimate price. Many talented people, many good people, many people who would otherwise have been great leaders have had their rise to power cut short just by virtue of being people who overly display their talents and abilities and all those things.
Basi sasa niulize. Nimekuchapa the whole time. Lakini sasa niulize, when you talk about talents and gifts and all of these things, sasa kama niko more talented kukuliko, see, it's the truth.
Yes, you might be more talented than I am. If I am your leader. You might be more talented than I am. But every leader, and this is human nature, every leader wants to be the center of attraction. Whether or not they agree to it, they want to be the center of attraction.
It comes so naturally. They don't even
It comes
know
so naturally. If you are the president of the country, you want everyone to praise you. You want everyone to respect you. You want everyone to honor you. You want everything to revolve around you. So when you have someone who is
stealing your shine,
junior to you, shining more brighter than you are, you're going to feel insecure. It's going to spark. So if you're a talented person, avoid outshining or avoid displaying your talents so highly that it would surpass the one who is in authority. The reason being is we are all sinners. We are all weak. We all have our own prejudices. And like I've told you, the person in authority likes to be the center of attraction. They like the world revolving around them. So in your quest to rise in power, you should never outshine, outdisplay them. Whether in opulence, let them be the most.
Ndo display the most.
The most. Whenever you are giving or you're talking about your achievements.
Ujishushe kidogo.
Of the things you have done. Make them seem that they have been inspired by the person in authority. Make them seem like that. like for example, you can defer to them. Like for example, if you want to do something, this is what I usually do. If I want to do something, I would go to my superior and ask them what they think about it. And ask them if they have any suggestion as to what I would do before I do it.
And you already have an idea.
I have an idea of what to do.
And what?
And you see, if they are superior, some of them have even more knowledge than you.
Okay.
So when you go to them and you tell them, hey, we want to start this podcast known as Beyond the Pulpit. What do you think about it? They will give you their own input. They are not foolish people. They have something that you can use and work with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get whatever they have. Take note of what they have told you. Incorporate your own ideas into whatever they have told you. Do their stuff. Make sure you give them credit. From their advice, if they have genuinely given you something that you would use. And that is why it is important, even in the work setup, always defer to your boss. There are guys who have supervisors, and you're more educated, more talented than your supervisor. Defer to him. Why? Because they can easily cut your legs. They can easily hinder your progress.
Yeah.
They can easily stop. And we've seen people who are in toxic work environments. Not because they're not doing their job, but because the person who is in authority, and you see you have no control over who becomes your boss.
You don't.
You have no control.
You absolutely don't.
Imagine if you were sitting under a Louis XIV, who was personally insecure,
Yeah.
had personal problems.
That's a
with,
personal issue.
He had a personal issue.
He had esteem and confidence issues.
But you see, Nicolas Fouquet's behaviors, instead of making King Louis XIV more secure, they made him more insecure in his position.
Yeah.
He is already insecure, but his behavior actually triggered or amplified his insecurity.
But back to Nicolas Fouquet.
Yeah.
Tunaiba pesa pamoja.
Yes.
Ninakuwekea lakini unakuja kusema you do not know where my money is coming from. Is that a bit two-faced? That's an issue with people in authority. Like, we will still together, like what we see right now. What we are seeing right now. When there's money, we are all stealing together. But you will talk about those of us who are stealing, those of us who are corrupt. We will investigate them. We will investigate. Na tunaiba pamoja. Like, tunaiba pesa ya wananchi na pesa za watu pamoja. But now,
but you see, even though they were stealing, you see now, the king had leverage. The king had leverage against him or over him. Because we are stealing together. But I'm the one who holds the instruments of power. And since he got jealous of him, he had he had a justifiable reason to remove him. You're a thief.
You're a thief.
Even though you're stealing on my behalf.
It cannot trace back to me.
Yes, even though you're stealing on my behalf, you're a thief. The fact is, wewe ni mwizi.
It does not negate.
Sisi ni wezi, lakini wewe ni mwizi, which is true. So in a court of law,
you're paying for both of us.
Yes, you pay for both of us. And it was just out of jealousy. It was just out of jealousy. Be very careful in your work environments. Be very careful in social environments. Be very careful if you want to attain the heights of power. Always defer to those people. Always go to them. Always consult with them. No. Even if you know, you will pay the ultimate price for outshining your master. Because what they will do to you, they would hinder your progress. They would stop it. Wicked or not, they have that capability of shutting you down.
Yeah.
They can shut you down even with your good ideas. You will never rise. I have seen people try to do that. Even in my employments, I've seen people do that. They come, they are very talented, they are very gifted. Especially we have guys who get to work and they have better papers than their superiors.
They have degrees and masters.
You have a master's, you're dealing with your boss who has a diploma. And you want to bring your master's into
knowledge.
Your master's into the room.
All.
Yes, you will look bright. You will look brilliant. You will look sophisticated. You will look educated, but you will go nowhere. You will go nowhere because they will cut you. It is very sad.
It's unfair, honestly, when I think about it.
Do we live in a fair world?
I can imagine myself in a workplace, and I'm really doing my best to, because I don't want to get noticed because I want maybe to get a promotion.
Yeah.
But now maybe my supervisor or my department head, and I'm better than them. Now I can't do it because I'm afraid that this person is going to cut down my legs. Anaweza enda join department, let's say he's a department head. Anaweza enda kwa mdosi ule mkubwa aseme hata Tracy afanyange kazi ama hata huyu afanyange kitu. So now I have to sort of, I feel like that is like dimming my light so that I can help someone else shine, which is not very fair.
It is actually dimming your light for some time.
Okay, for some time.
For some time.
Because it will pay off eventually.
What are you targeting? Let's
say a promotion.
Let's be truthful here. When you get to work, you have been employed in this company. Do you plan to stay wherever you've gotten,
no.
or you plan to rise the heights of power?
I plan to.
And don't be fooled. People think if people think that power is something bad, or they don't want power. If you ever meet anyone who tells you I am not interested in power, they are lying.
That's a lie.
They are lying.
Haja discover bad.
Nobody wants less power. People want more power and not less. People want to rise in the ranks.
Yeah.
And for you to rise the ranks, for you to get there tactically. I told you, with power there is nothing serious. It is all jokes.
Ni jokes too, manze.
When it comes to the issues of power, corporate politics, institutional politics, church nothing serious. Your heart and your mind and take it somewhere else. Kitabu imeanguka. It's fine. Yeah. Your heart, your good heart, your everything. When it comes to those setups, put them aside, because you either will rise and become impactful in what you're doing, or you will be shut down.
And there's nothing as painful as being shut
There's nothing as painful. Have you seen, I saw the other time an actuarial science graduate with first class honors wanting to unalive themselves.
Why?
Yeah, they had no job. And it is an unfair world. We don't live in a fair world. I told you, we don't live in an ideal world. We live in a realistic world.
It's not puppies and unicorns.
Yes, it is not fair. These guys who score first class honors sometimes get the receiving end, depending on who is sitting on the throne where they have applied for jobs. You can imagine wewe no, hata si kiburi. Imagine hata wewe labda that guy does not have any kiburi. But imagine you with your certificate. You're interviewing someone with first class honors. With first class honors in their education.
And mtu akona PhD atakupatia job kwa above you. Mimi na certificate yangu.
And you know they are going to replace you. Probably that is the insecurity. They're probably going to replace you.
Yeah.
So they end up suffering. That's the world we live in.
Now it's an issue if I'm smart.
Yes. No, Christians, if you are smart, Robert Greene advises, and I think this is good advice. If you are smart, try to dull your smartness. There is time for unleashing your smartness. Only unleash that smartness when you are in a position of power.
Wewe ukifika hapo juu.
Yes, where your smartness would be appreciated, where people will defer to you, where it will not matter. In our organization, I try to be better than everyone else at everything, so that I don't get to that particular point where there is any individual in our organization who can outshine
you.
Yes, I try to I told you I went back to school.
Yeah.
Because of that. I went back to school because I've seen the papers of
other
my
people
juniors.
Coming.
They're going up.
Yeah,
so I try to be at least a step ahead of them. It is not really achievable in all circumstances.
True.
But I try to ensure that insecurity does not come to play. That I don't shut down someone because of a personal insecurity. But what happens to the world out there? That's what happens.
Yes. And I like what Robert Greene, after history aliandika, when the evening began, Fouquet was at the top of the world. By the time it ended, he was at the bottom.
This guy,
everyone was big. Asubuhi.
It went down really quick.
Very from 100 to 0.
From 100 to 0. It accelerated fast.
Yo. I think alikuwa anashindwa kwani.
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Because you imagine a situation where the king is seated there.
Hearing other people praise you.
Yes.
Sasa Fouquet angefanya nini? Angesema, even the king is the one who advised me. He's the one.
What he would have done that's a very good question. What would Nicolas Fouquet have done? Since he loved extravagance and opulence.
Opulence. I think anaweza ingia vizuri sana kwa serikali.
And Louis XIV also loved the same thing. But Louis loved being the center of attention. He would have started with Louis XIV. He would have gone to him. They are stealing money together. These guys
then
probably they were sitting in the same
best
seat.
Friends.
As they are discussing how to steal money
they're
together,
best friends.
as they are discussing, he would tell him, I want to throw you this particular...
Throw the party in
Yes,
honor.
in your honor. I want to do it in your honor. What could you advise me to do?
Who do you want me to invite?
No, what could you advise me to do?
Okay.
We are going to see what Joseph did. Joseph of the Bible.
Okay.
He actually did the opposite of what Nicolas Fouquet did. So he would have gone to the king and told the king, I am thinking of organizing a party in your honor and building, what would you have me do? And so he would have sat there and let the king advise him.
Yeah.
And then he would have taken the king's advice, incorporated his own lavishness, and made sure that the king's advice was more lavish.
Okay.
And as they are getting into the party, it should have been very clear, not who threw the party, but whose party is whose party is it?
Yeah.
Ingekuwa Louis XIV, Louis XIV, Louis XIV everywhere. Nicolas Fouquet should never have come out, because imagine he's seated on the throne, na wako tu hapo, they're praising him. What happens? The guy got very insecure, and he's already an insecure person. He was already insecure. So as you continue to take his light, you're dimming him.
Yeah.
As you're continuing to be the center of attraction, you go down.
And even with the guests, he's when I read Niliona wakisema Nicola invited you started by saying he had connections.
Yes.
So ni mabeshte wake.
Exactly.
Wenye wanaendaga huko nje, unajua ile you guy my guy huko wakikuwa huko nje ni you guy, my moti hivyo.
Yes.
So hao ndo ali invite and
Yes.
they do know the king, but they are more familiar with Nicola.
Yes.
So angemuuliza cheki, nipatie guest list yako, I also invite your friends.
He was actually the center of attraction.
Oh, no.
It was actually, even though it was in the honor or in honor of the king,
It was
he
meant
was the
to
guy
please.
who got the attraction.
Oh, that is so sad.
Always, it doesn't matter, love or hate your superior. Always defer to them. Love or hate them, defer to them. Don't lie, don't flatter them with lies. There are moral ways of deferring to them. And I've told you that.
Yeah.
My superiors, I don't think I have had a superior. I have had superiors who've gotten jealous of myself, but not because I've not deferred to them.
Okay.
Because there are times you will follow the law and defer to them, but you'll just find them hating you.
Kuna wenye tu
Kuna wenye,
juu ya nothing.
yes, for over nothing. But always make sure. I have never made a move without my superiors knowing, even here in church.
Yeah.
Without them knowing. They're the first people I call.
Yeah.
I want to do this. What do you think? I even go to visit them.
Seeking
You
advice.
see, bosses assume that they are more clever, more brighter than the people they lead. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Whenever you want something, go to them. Go to their office. Ask for their advice. Let them feel like they had an input.
Or they have something of importance to give,
Yes.
to share.
When you are giving a speech, let's say you have successfully done a job, it went so well, everybody has realized you're talented, the whole organization is praising you. When you get that chance to speak, praise your boss.
Credit them.
Credit them.
Interesting.
And I'm saying so that you don't lie, so that you don't stand and lie to people. Make sure that before you do it, you have asked for their advice, so that whenever you are reporting, you're actually reporting what they told you.
Yeah.
You're actually reporting you're not lying. It is a strategy. I told you it's chess, nothing serious. The games.
It's all fun and games.
Yes, nothing serious.
It's all
If you want seriousness, peleka seriousness place ingine.
Place ingine.
Yes.
Si okay.
Seriousness, we will talk about it when we are doing scripture.
Yeah.
When we are talking about the story of Joseph. But when it comes to rising in power, it's tactics. It's strategy. It is a plan. I kept saying, nobody wins by accident.
It's all about
Winning is deliberate. There are rules, regulation, laws. I talk about the gym so much because I got to the gym. The gym has laws, rules, regulation, strategy. If you don't follow the strategies, It doesn't matter how much you lift.
Yeah.
You can even injure yourself.
Yeah.
You have to follow the rules of the gym, the rules of lifting, the rules of eating for you to
results.
succeed as a lifter. So is everywhere that you go. Every place. The church and the secular world, they are not different.
They're not different.
I'm telling you the truth. Check the church at Corinth, the church in Corinth. You know, people think that there are certain laws for the church.
No.
It's human beings that have a problem.
When we have the same character, whether you go to
Yes.
Rome or whether
A sinner, you being saved, you are a saved sinner.
Yeah. And a sinner in Rome is not different from a
Yes.
sinner in Kenya.
A sinner in Kenya and a sinner in Rome are sinners.
A sinner, an unbeliever, and a sinner
Yes.
believer.
You will be surprised that all these games, even in the church, they are there. Actually, more subtle,
Okay.
more hidden, more hypocritical. Unajua huku nje, outside there, you expect people to be jokers.
Yeah.
You expect people to be liars. You expect people to be shrewd. You expect people to be violent and all that, jealous and all that. You think the church is different?
No.
It's not different. We have
We're
the
human
same
beings.
guys, same guys.
We're human beings.
But now it is even worse in the church
Because it's hidden.
because it's hidden.
It's so hidden. Unless you are in those rooms,
Yes.
you wouldn't even tell.
Politics
the things.
ya tibim na tialala
Na politics ya kanisa.
na politics ya kanisa ni the same. Ni the same. Don't be lied to. It is the same.
Oh, no.
Stop living in the ideal world. The politics in the church and the politics in the world are the same. Sinners are sinners. The difference between the church and the world is that the church has saved sinners.
Yes.
The world has sinners who are not saved,
We are
who need salvation.
They need Christ.
So guys come to church and they get disappointed. Have you seen people becoming atheists because of the hypocrisy in the church?
All the churches.
What did you expect? What do you expect?
You know, they expect perfect believers.
I am a sinner, my friend.
Perfect believer in an imperfect world.
If you look at me and you expect me to be perfect,
Hey, bro.
jokes on you. Jokes on you.
Utanichukia bure sasa.
Utanichukia bure. Because I am not a saint. I will tell you this. I am a saint by virtue that Christ has died on the cross for my sin.
Yeah.
But I am a human being with a sinful nature and a new nature. And the Bible says that the new nature and the sinful nature are in conflict. So that we cannot do what we want.
Yeah.
So stop expecting the church to be different.
Okay.
Stop expecting your pastor to be perfect. He is not. I see when a pastor does something that it's hot news. No, that's a human
Headlines.
being. What do you expect?
Show. Group WhatsApps.
What do you expect?
Everyone.
What do you learn to expect human
Yes.
beings to be sinners?
Yeah.
I look at people, I expect them to be who they are. I don't
Nothing phases you.
I
about human
don't
being?
get surprised.
Really?
No, I stopped. I used to get
Really?
surprised.
Oh my God, gay.
No,
How
nowadays,
could
no,
you?
I don't get surprised.
Really?
I don't get surprised.
I hope I get to that point, honestly.
If you just learn what human nature is, you will get there. I don't get surprised at what people do. I actually expect them to do that.
Or worse.
I expect people to stab me in the back. When they do stab me in the back, I know, yes, I expected it. You stabbed me in the back? Yes. Can we move on with life?
Oh no.
Because to expect the opposite, we are not in heaven.
You're setting
We have
yourself
not
up
been
for
been
disappointment,
glorified.
yeah.
We have not been glorified. In our glorified state is when we'll be free from the power of sin, influence of sin, and the guilt of sin.
Yeah.
But for now, jokes. Jokes.
Okay. We've talked about the secular and the biblical. But now let's bring it kidogo home for us believers, for our believing audience, our believers audience. What am I saying?
Believing audience.
Our believing audience who are believing in us. Let's bring it closer. Because we said we will be showing the secular and the biblical.
Yes.
Because you've said again, you've talked about Joseph. So let's go into the story of Joseph. How did he not defy, because Joseph did you said he did the exact
Opposite of
what
Nicolas Fouquet.
Fouquet did.
He observed the law.
He observed the law.
Yes.
And we have another, we have a Kenyan example, a Kenyan leader who also observed the law.
Yes.
That is Moi.
Yes.
And we can also talk
Daniel
about
Torotich Arap Moi.
the president who ruled for as
24
long.
years.
Hey, yo. That is how long. Okay, I was not even born, but that's a long time.
Yes.
We can also talk about Absalom.
Yes.
Who defied the law proper.
Yes.
That's an example in the Bible.
Yes.
So wacha tuanze na Joseph.
Yes.
Ama tuanze na Moi.
Tuanze na Joseph.
Tuanze na Joseph. Wacha
Yes.
tuanze na Joseph. The story of Joseph is in Genesis.
Let's go to Genesis.
Genesis. We will not read the entire thing. We are encouraging you to read your Bibles, our audience. So, his story is in the book of Genesis 40.
Genesis 41.
Okay.
Let me just lay you a background. We all know the story of Joseph.
Yeah.
You can read Genesis. Joseph had brothers who hated him because he was a dreamer. He dreamt that his brothers are going to bow down before him. And they hated him because of his dreams, and he used to share with them. So one day they decided to get rid of the guy. They decided to kill him. So instead of killing him, they came up with a brilliant idea.
Yes, waliketi chini 11 of them. 11 of them walikuwa sini 11.
Yes.
11 walikuwa zile za wa.
They had a brilliant
idea kali
of kuua mbuzi ama kondoo na kuipaka damu, kuchukua robe zake, and to sell Joseph into Egypt,
slavery,
into slavery. So Joseph went to Egypt. He landed in Potiphar's house. He became a servant of this guy, and Potiphar's wife akaona Jose. Jose is kiodo attractive.
Kijana barubaro.
Kiodo interesting. It's interesting. Akaona mimi nataka Jose. And nitapata Jose by hook or crook. Jose was respected his superior and loved Potiphar, who was his master, and also loved God. So Jose akuingia box ya Potiphar's wife. So she decided to use that card, the R card.
Oh God.
The attempted R card.
Oh,
you know that?
No, yeah.
Yeah, I decided to use that.
It's just horrible. Leni, kumbe hizi vitu si modern. Zilianza kitambo.
Unafikiri there is, Ecclesiastes tells us there is nothing new under the sun.
Hizi vitu zilianza.
There is nothing new. History repeats itself. What you saw before, and that's what we are trying to show you.
Humans
this is
humans.
Ancient history. That was the 17th century. This is way before.
Way after.
Okay, before.
Oh, no,
before
wait.
Louis XIV walikuja later. This
and then
is
now there's us.
kitambo. So Jose lands into prison. When he lands into prison,
for something he didn't do.
he didn't do. That's life.
Maskini.
I told you ideal life and real life. Real life is brutal and all that.
Let's accept it.
Yes. The more you accept your fate, the better you will be at handling it.
Yeah.
So Joseph is in prison. There is the chief baker and the chief butler, or the cupbearer and the butler. They all dream. Joseph akiwa hapo, he interprets the dream of both of them. Sorry. Chatuweke huyu kwenye
anasumbua katikati ya
sumbua watu time ya recording. So he interprets both of their dreams. He tells the chief cupbearer, you'll be released in 3 days. He tells the butler, you'll be hanged in 3 days. And he tells the cupbearer, when you are released, remember me. Yeah, remember me. Usinipite. So, like Joseph had predicted, the butler is hanged, the cupbearer is released. He forgets about Joseph for 2 years. Na Joseph alimwambia unikumbuke. Wakumbuke ile wimbo ya Kristo. Alimsahau. So kumsahau, Pharaoh gets a dream. And it was a dream that disturbs him. He brings all his magicians and all those guys
trying to
interpret the dream. They couldn't. He was so furious. The cupbearer remembers 2 years later, Joseph.
Kuna kamse.
Nilikaacha prison.
Oh.
Joseph is brought before Pharaoh. Now this is where the story is interesting.
Yeah.
Now when Joseph is brought before Pharaoh, Pharaoh narrates to him the dream that he had gotten. Joseph, by this time, he knows that he has a gift. He knows that he's gifted. He is truly a dreamer. He has interpreted dreams. He is truly a dreamer. But look at what he says. You see, that was his he came before Pharaoh. That was his chance. Kuonesha yeye venye ni noma mbaya.
Umejaribu hao magicians wote nunge.
People think that if you stand before the president and you outshine everyone, outshine even the people who brought you there, that you'll rise in power, you'll go nowhere.
Getting more credit.
No. Don't be the center of attraction. When there is someone more powerful than you, do not commit that sin of being the center of attraction when someone is more powerful than you is there. It is just ka wisdom ka hapa hivi, ka kumanuva. So what does Joseph do after he has been given the dream? This is how he answers in verse 16 of Genesis 41. Joseph answered Pharaoh, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer." So first,
It's not in me.
First, he removes himself. Where does he give credit? God. He is not the center of attraction.
Yes.
He is not saying that I am the expert.
Yeah.
Mganga kutoka Tanga. Kuna shida ya kuchanganikiwa. Hakuna hajapiga advertisement. Ajasimama pale amtishe. You know, that would be a chance to do the abracadabras and all those things.
Right,
yes. He defers to God. First. Because he understands it is whatever he has, every good gift, the Bible tells us, come from God. In verse 25, then Joseph said to Pharaoh, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do." Who has revealed?
God.
Not Joseph.
See, Mimi.
He is not the center of attraction. He defers to God again.
Yeah.
If you go to verse 28, "It is as I told Pharaoh. God has shown to Pharaoh what he is about to do." God again. It's not him. My friend, glory belongs to God. Wachana na mambo ya glory. Mambo ya glory ati wewe ni master, you should be respected. Who should? When you respect me, what do I gain? Glory, give it to the people who are due. And glory goes to God. Whenever you achieve something, defer it to God, because God has given you life. He has given you opportunity. He has given you the mind, the brain. When you get there and you start praising yourself as though you created yourself, there are people who do that. Praise themselves. They are brilliant mind. Joseph defers.
I am smart.
Joseph defers to God. Let's go down, verse 33. "Now therefore let Pharaoh select now he's giving advice after interpreting the dream. He tells, look at what he says. "Now therefore let Pharaoh select a discerning and wise man and set him over the land of Egypt." He's not saying choose me. Choose me,
teacher me. Nimekuinterpretia mimi.
Do you know what tactic he uses? He takes back that to Pharaoh, so that if Pharaoh does the right thing, who gets the credit?
Joseph.
Pharaoh.
Oh, Pharaoh.
Yes, because I am giving you the opportunity. I'm giving you the opportunity to choose a wise man.
Decision.
In other words, Joseph alikuwa anasema nichague tu.
Ni mimi lakini nataka tu.
He deferred it to Pharaoh. He deferred that decision. Yes. If Pharaoh chooses him and Egypt is saved, who gets the credit for being a good leader? Pharaoh. Law number 1, never outshine your master. Verse 34, he says, "Let Pharaoh proceed to appoint overseers over the land and take 1/5 of the produce of the land of Egypt during 7 plentiful years." He knows what to do. He has the solution. But he's not coming as Joseph, the savior of Egypt. He was a prisoner in Egypt. He is a foreigner. He's telling Pharaoh, this is what you should do.
This is what.
But
Appoint
It is
them.
your decision.
Wow.
You see, this is what you should do. He's wiser than Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Pharaoh hapo
Very by far.
ameshindwa na his advisors all have gone wrong. He's wiser than Pharaoh. But he's deferring that decision to Pharaoh.
Wow. Okay.
We are not praising Pharaoh, by the way. We are just emphasizing a
a
law.
law.
Never outshine your master. Verse 35 says, and let them gather all the food of these good years that are coming and store up grain under the authority of Pharaoh for food in the cities, and let them keep it. That food shall be a reserve for the land against the 7 years of famine that are to occur in the land of Egypt, so that the land may not perish through famine.
You know, Joseph would have easily taken credit for
Yes,
Egypt
I'm the one who
not
saved
suffering.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Me ndio nilisave Egypt. How many times have you had people
Hata ni mimi
take credit
nilimwambia
for
afanye
things?
hivyo.
Yes, ni mimi nilimwambia. Ni mimi nilisave Egypt.
And we do like that.
We like that.
I would honestly love it when someone credits me by...
I have told you, people like to be the center of attraction, especially those in power. If there is anyone here who is in power who does not like to be the center of attraction,
True.
raise your hand, contact me, and tell me, Silas, you are telling us the wrong thing.
Silas atakupatia 48 laws of power. So.
Yes. Every leader. That's why you see, whenever there is a function, a government function,
They
Your
all
Excellency,
stand.
Your Excellency. The word that is repeated the most is Your Excellency. When the Excellency is there. If the Excellency is not there and we have the governor, it's Your Excellency, Governor.
Yeah.
If it is an MP, it is your Honorable.
Mhesh.
Mhesh. They like to be the center of power. Who hates to be the center of power?
Not me.
Let's look at what now how Joseph rose the ranks as opposed to Nicolas Fouquet. Verse 38, and Pharaoh said to his servants, can we find a man like this in whom is the Spirit of God? If this guy had tried to outshine Pharaoh, Pharaoh would have finished him. But by him deferring to Pharaoh and his wisdom and his leadership and his power to make decisions, Pharaoh realizes this is a wise man. And he says, can we find someone in Egypt that has the Spirit of God? Verse 39, he says, then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has shown you unwise as you are. Now this is Pharaoh now giving that power and authority. You see, you are safe when the person in authority is bestowing that authority to you. You will rise the ranks.
Okay.
And they give generously.
As opposed to bestowing it on yourself.
If the person in authority doesn't feel threatened by you, you will rise. You will rise. Because they will give you the power, they give you the mandate, and now you can use your skills to shine. So he continues and says, verse 40, you shall be over my house, and all my people shall order themselves as you command. Only as regards to the throne will I be greater. He even tells him, I will give you authority.
Everyone else in my house.
Yes. But see mimi.
Si mimi.
Kuna uongo kwa never outshine your master. Isn't this Pharaoh, ancient history, telling Joseph to never outshine him? In other words, anamwambia, never outshine me.
Okay.
Isn't he telling him only usikuje, usipite, don't cross. Don't cross the line.
Anyone else will obey you but me.
But not me.
You can order anyone else
Yes.
in my house, in my household,
me.
but not me. Like I'm above you, bro.
Yes. Verse 41, and Pharaoh said to Joseph, see, I have set you over the land of Egypt. This guy was a foreigner. He was not an Egyptian.
Aliuzwa.
Yes, he was not an Egyptian from prison.
It's just a prison.
Nakumbuka hiyo saying yenye nasema when the day began, night began, Nicolas Fouquet was on top. When it ended, he was below.
Yeah.
When it started for Joseph, he was below.
Yeah.
It ends with him on top.
Oh.
And he says, see, I have set you over all the land. Then Pharaoh, verse 41. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, see, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh took his signet ring from his hands and put it on Joseph's hand and clothed him in garments of fine linen and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him ride in his second chariot, not the first. And they called
Not
out...
the first
Yes,
Pharaoh.
yes, second chariot. And called out before him, bow the knee, thus set him above all the land of Egypt.
So he was like he was the second
In command.
in command.
From prison.
A mere prisoner. Just an interpreter of dreams.
Yes. How do you think the wise men around Pharaoh felt about Joseph?
A prisoner.
Some people, if
Prisoner.
you rise...
We are answering to a prisoner.
Yeah.
A slave.
Imagine. Some people, if you rise the ranks, they think that you are a bootlicker, you
we
are a
have
snitch.
haven't we had
They
that?
think that. I told you,
Haven't we
when it
had
comes to games of power, rising ranks, nothing serious.
Iweke-
Jokes.
Usiweke kwa roho, iweke kwa lungs.
Ukiiweka kwa roho, shauri yako.
Iweke kwa lungs, utaipumua.
Utalia. You will hate the world, you will hate leadership, you will start thinking everything is evil. It's
Everyone
because
is
of your
after
own.
you.
And you know, people who pretend that they don't like power are the ones who are very ambitious about power. And they pretend. I've seen them. I look at people and I see, I told you I'm very interested in people.
Yeah.
I see their ambition. And I see the way they behave. Some people even come and directly challenge the person in authority.
Directly.
Imagine you're in a boardroom with your CEO. You're in a boardroom with your CEO. And you disagree with him. But you are there, guns blazing after him.
Oh no, don't do that. Now that's unwise. Now that's just being unwise, bro.
My friend, your mouth will cost you.
You will be fired.
You can do this. If you disagree with a person in authority, number one, don't do it publicly. Don't do it publicly.
Hey, that's humiliating.
Yes, if you are ambitious in rising the ranks, don't do it publicly. Go to them. You can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You can agree to disagree.
But be graceful also.
Yes. The Bible says, let your words be seasoned with salt. Go to them. Approach them personally. If I disagree with my boss, I will never tell him when there is a third party. Never. Never.
Okay.
I would keep quiet. I would let him run the show. I would go to him individually. Isn't that what the Bible says when someone has something against you, to come to you first?
Yeah.
So are we not saying things that are in the Bible?
Yeah, in the Bible.
Yes. Defer to them. They hate embarrassment. How do you embarrass your king in public?
In public. He
How
will
do you do that?
cut your throat.
Yes. How do you do that? You don't do that. Even for a godly king, he will cut you. Even that godly
These are
king.
some unwritten rules.
You will trigger their sinful nature.
Yeah.
And they will deal with you.
And they'll blame it on you.
And they will blame it on you.
Si ni wewe ulifanya nini mi?
Yes. So, like Joseph, defer. Defer to God, defer to your leader.
I really like how Joseph was pointing to God. Let
Yes.
God. God will show Pharaoh.
Exactly.
God.
It's God, ni God manze.
God manze. Make me show me. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Aya. Moi. Moi is another interesting leader in the country who people might not know
Yeah.
that he really followed the rule. He observed the law, the first law. Mimi wakati wa Moi sikuwa nimezaliwa.
Huko umezaliwa. Woi.
I was nilikuwa huko chini kwa miguu. Anasemanga nilikuwa kwa miguu.
Lakini Mungu ni nani, hapa ni wapi?
Nilikuwa tu somewhere like ndo mimi sasa ninasoma.
Hapa ni wapi?
I'm just studying about him, so tupate saa story ya juu. Unajua wewe si mchanga. Unajua
mimi si mchanga.
wewe si
Wapenzi
mchanga.
watazamaji, mimi si mchanga.
Umekula miaka huko nje.
Chumvi nimelamba. Nimelamba chumvi. Si sana.
Wakati wa kui wa born. Were you born no?
No kuno.
No. Okay.
Hata wewe umenizeesha sasa. No.
You're not that ancient.
I'm not that ancient.
Okay.
No, wakati wa kuu, no, I was born years later.
Some years later.
Actually 9 years later.
It's 83, 84. Nakwanga
82.
82.
I was born 9
9
years
years
later.
later. Oh,
91.
okay.
Aki mimi
Okay.
mi bado ni wa 90s.
When you were 9
Millennial.
early 90s.
Yes.
Aya, sasa tupatie
Early
story ya
90s.
Moi.
So Moi, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. He was called Toroitich.
Mtu jamaa mimi namjua kama mafia.
No. Moi is a very interesting. I thank God because I have seen his reign from his early years. He got when he wanted to be overthrown before he became the president of this country. Kenyatta was the president, and Moi was I think foreign affairs minister during the colonial time. When we got into independence, Moi, I might get some of these facts wrong, but Moi he was appointed into the council, LegCo. He was a representative of Rift Valley. Comes from Baringo, a very small family, raised by a single mother. And then he was a school teacher, by the way. Alikuwa mwalimu. He rose from a school teacher to the professor of politics. Alisema KANU will rule for 100 years. I can tell you, even the current president ni product ya KANU. He said KANU will rule for... No, he said that. KANU will rule for 100 years. Everyone who is ruling now is... The guy who is on the throne is from KANU. Si alikuwa YK29, Youth for KANU.
Yeah.
He was deep into Moi. So Moi became very powerful. But as a vice president, Moi suffered. As a deputy president, Moi suffered. I might get these things wrong, but they are on YouTube. You can go and watch them.
Read.
I heard that there was when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was president, the people who surrounded them, they were called the Kiambu Mafia. They were a group of very powerful people from central Kenya, mainly Kiambu, that were in the corridors of power. And so,
wakikohoa watu wana...
Yes, Moi became deputy president, or was appointed by Kenyatta, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, as vice. Oh, it's not deputy.
It's not deputy.
He's vice president. He was appointed by Kenyatta. The mafia was very comfortable with Moi. He never seemed ambitious.
Comfortable as in they saw no threat.
He was not a threat at all. In fact, walikuwa na mdharau.
You ni kudharauliwa, by the someone not seeing you as a threat.
Yes, he was not a threat.
Umeshushiwa vibaya. Like
as a matter of fact, Kalenjin tribe at that time, it was highly tribal. It was a very small tribe. It was not like right now. It was like a small tribe. Numbers. The Kikuyu were the majority at that time. The Kikuyu were many. The Kalenjin were... I don't know if they were few or not very significant at that time. So when Moi as deputy president suffered a lot. The guys used to... by the way, it is rumored that there is one, I think it was a provincial commissioner or something, who slapped Moi.
PC?
In front of the president.
Akamtandika,
akamzaba ile kitu.
It is not shocking that we've had of the same rumors this year.
Akampiga zabaring, akamzaba ile kitu. Whenever he started to speak, he used to defer to Mzee Jomo Kenyatta.
Always.
And as a matter of fact, I might be wrong, but the word nyayo is to follow nyayo. Unajua nyayo ni kufuata nyayo. Yeah, ni footsteps. Deferring to Kenyatta. He would give him credit in public. He would call him his father. He called him his father. He would always defer. And at that time, as he was doing these things, showing no ambition, the mafia was very comfortable with him. They didn't see him as a threat. And that is how he rose to that deputy president, vice president position. Because of, even though he was ambitious, I don't think he was not ambitious. He was.
Yeah.
He was a school teacher.
He knew how to manage it.
He sat under his leader patiently and humbly waiting What do you think happened? What do you think the guy mwenye alimchapa coffee happened when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta passed in? I think it was in 1978 or something.
Unarudi tu ushago.
He ran away from the country. I hear rumor has it
Alitoka
that immediately utaishia.
hata si kwenda home.
Yes.
Alienda kusika asylum
Until he became the president.
He never outshone.
He never outshone his master. If had he outshone Kenyatta, there were guys
we wouldn't have
at that
heard
time.
of Moi.
Yeah, there were guys at that time,
Yeah.
Akina Charles Njonjo, who were very powerful people.
Yeah.
And they were the guys that people would look at and and think that this is... They were powerful people. They already had the power.
You made me think of someone in history. Tom
Yeah.
Mboya.
Tom Mboya, that is during Moi's time, now when he's president.
Or he was in Moi's time.
Yes. And for him, I think he naturally... Tom Mboya was just naturally gifted.
Yeah.
He was just a gifted guy.
Who was loved by many.
He was loved by many and other things. And that costed him also.
It
cost
his life.
him his life. So...
He outshone his master.
No, I don't think he did it deliberately. I
Not
don't know.
deliberately.
Not, yeah.
Deriba.
No, unatoka central. Just
wa.
understand this. We don't
Nyambura.
live in an ideal world. We don't live in an ideal world.
It's
the real world.
I'm not even going to go back to it. But yeah, he was not deliberate on it.
Yes, not deliberate. But I'm talking about when Moi was VP, vice president, Kenyatta was the one who was shining until he rose to power and ruled until 1982.
24 years is a long time.
24 years.
How long was Kenyatta president?
I'm not really sure.
Not so long.
I think from independence, I think
60.
64. Tulipata independence is 63.
3.
I think 63 all the way to 78 when he died. Yes, all the way to 78 when he died. Yes.
And then
around
your
15
VP
years.
comes and takes over for 24
Yes.
years.
The person who guys had
the
undermined.
unambitious
Yes, they're
person.
unambitious.
The zero threat.
It is very dangerous to show ambition. Immediately you show ambition and you have not strategically positioned yourself, you're not getting the seat.
You're digging your grave.
You are not getting the seat.
Yeah.
There are forces and powers that would hinder you. They will work and conspire and do everything to make sure that you don't get there.
Sad.
That is what happened to our president. A very simple man from a class teacher rising to presidency. Had he behaved the way Nicolas Fouquet behaved, he would never have been president.
Yeah.
Because they would have shut him off. He would be fired. At that time, the president had the powers to fire the vice president.
Oh. Not even impeach.
He was the appointing.
Nile unaambiwa
No.
umefutwa kazi.
Moi
No impeachment.
alikuwa na wachange kama t-shirt. Moi alibadilisha mavipi.
Umeamka kama PS1. Oh, by the way, during his tenure we had a lot of
VPs. Tulikuwa tunasema in high school, in primary.
Kina Wamalwa.
We used to cram omumo kika samu amo. Na hizo zingine.
Yeah.
Omumo, Oginga Odinga, Murumbi, Murumbi, Moi.
Oh.
Omumo, Kibaki. Kalonzo.
I don't know. Not kijana Wamalwa.
Kijana Wamalwa.
Okay. Huyo ako samu.
Omumo kika samu amo. Yes.
Okay.
Something like that.
That's a lot of
But
people.
Moi used to change them like t-shirts. Wewe unafikiri Moi that time ulikuwa when VP hata unaweza sikia kwa radio umechujwa. Ministers used to be fired kwa radio.
Yeah. Alafu
kwa
detail yako yote wanakuacha.
Habari ya saa 7 uko kwa limo. Mko kwa jamu sasa. Nasikia mtukufu rais amemuondoa
waziri wa fedha.
Unaambiwa na bodyguard shuka boss.
Sina kazi yako.
Nikushukishe wapi? Unajua huyo
Ati nikushukishe wapi?
Ni vile unaulizanga mse hapa ni sawa.
Ati hapa ni Oh. Uko na fare kurudi? Uko na fare kukufikisha?
Watu walikuwa unashuka kwa jamu. Wewe si minister, ulitoka kwa ofisi as minister.
Uko na kazi asubuhi.
Yes, ukifika home wewe hauna kazi.
Unemployed.
Moi used to change them. Ambition anakuchange mbaya. Ndio sana.
Na hakufanyiwa hivyo.
Yes.
You see how unfair that is.
You
But
see,
he knows.
It's a game of power. I told you it's a game. I'm telling you, when it comes to stories of power, leadership, thrones, positions, office, nothing serious.
Yeke tu kwa roho. Uyeke
Check
tu
up.
kwa lungs.
Sit down, observe and laugh. Ukikuramba jicheke.
Jicheke tu. 'Cause
Sema
wow.
tu nilikuwa nataka hii kiti lakini imenikataa.
Ningefanya vitu
Nitacheka. Nimelan. If you take the issues of power seriously, you will hate people. You will hate those in authority. You will hate yourself. You will hate the world. You will say that there are no Christians in this world.
It's so cruel.
This world is cruel. It is not our home. Yes, it is not our home.
It is not our home.
But never outshine your master. Okay. That's the take home.
After everything we've said.
Yes.
Low one.
Never. It will cost you. It will cost you. Ask people who have done it.
Let's ask Absalom.
Yes, let's ask Absalom. By the way, kwanza able tuone Absalom anatuambia nini.
Let's ask Absalom because he decided
hata yeye aliamua. Absalom is a very funny character.
2 Samuel
chapter 15. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 15. Tuone huyu jamaa anaitwa Absalome. This story is very interesting. And Absalom was the son of David. David was a king. Absalom wanted David's throne. By the way, Psalm chapter 3.
Wanted?
Yes, he wanted it. He wanted his father out sooner than yesterday. Ai yake iko kwa siri, sinataka kusomea tu sasa hii. Ya Absalom iko kwa siri, alikuwa anaambia kila mtu. Absalom wanted the throne. Absalom tried to kill his father. You know, there is a time David ran away from Absalom.
Akaenda kajificha.
Yes.
Because he wants to kill you.
If you read Psalm chapter 3 is a psalm of David.
Oh, yeah, I've read it.
Yes.
I've actually read
Psalm chapter 3 is a psalm of David when he ran away from Absalom. Absalom wanted to, he was pursuing him to kill him.
Oh, no.
Yake ilikuwa jokes.
See hidden agenda.
No, yake was not hidden.
See hidden agenda.
Let me show you why I'm saying it is not hidden. Psalm 2 Samuel.
Oh, wait. Psalm 3 is, oh Lord, how many are my foes? My foes ni mtoi wangu.
David was running away from his son.
No.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Psalm chapter 2 Samuel 15 verse 2 inaanza, Absalom used to rise early and stand beside the way of the gate. And when any man had a dispute to come before the king for judgment, Absalom would call to him and say, from what city are you? And when he said, your servant is of such and such a tribe in Israel, Absalom would say to him, see, your claims are good and right, but there is no man designated by the king to hear you. Then Absalom would say, oh, that I were judge in the land, then every man with a dispute or cause might come to me and I would give them justice. Anaambia budangu hawezi wapea justice.
No. Ati ingekuwa mimi ninge.
Absalom alikuwa yake ilikuwa imefichwa. Yake ilikuwa I want this man dead. No, I want him gone. If he is not going by natural causes, I am killing him.
That is so selfish.
Yes, I've told you we live in a cruel world. Brutal to the core. The world that we live in stinks to the high heavens. Human beings are wicked. The heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can understand it?
Yo.
You know when tunaambiwa the heart of man is desperately wicked. Have you ever seen a desperate person?
Desperately. They're just waiting to do something.
Yes. Now, your heart is desperate for wickedness.
Aye.
Wickedness. That's the world. That's the true world. That's the true world. That's the reason why Christians look forward to going to heaven. Because this world is not heaven. This world is brutal. This world is horrible. Insane, is horrible, is sick.
Yeah.
Not to expect that this world will give you good things. This world will be fair to you. My friend, you will suffer mpaka utashtuka. Ati ungoje ati world ikuwe mzuri kwako. Adopt.
adopt to its wrong ways.
Expect your loved ones to betray you. Expect your friends to stab you in the back. Expect the people who you thought were by your side to be alone. Right now, I'm telling you, Tracy, you get into a scandal, you will be man solo. That is when you will realize you have no friends.
Wow, I hope they're watching this.
I am telling you for a fact. Some will even
Nitaachwa.
remove your photos, the photos you took with them. Have you not seen that happening? Where
Wata
people are
delete.
deleting their photos.
Ninakuwa nini? Kwanza saizi kuna
They will
simu
disown you.
unapigwa tu AI unatoka.
Yes, they will disown you. They will reject you.
That's bitter reality.
That's the reality. To expect anything less than that is to live in a utopia. Talk out utopia.
Wacha ku-expect.
So Absalom will do that. Absalom would want to dethrone his father.
Your own father. Na si ndo angekuwa nafaa
He would have
kui-air.
taken over.
When the father died naturally.
Yes.
He was the one.
What
Would
happened?
have been-
Did he take the throne? With his ambition.
He did not.
With
With
him.
even saying, if I were king.
Yes. Did he take the throne?
he did.
And you know, he managed to convince. Ukiangalia, let's continue and see. Let me go for a while. I lived. Let me go. Kuna mahali. We look for it. It says that Absalom managed to win the hearts of the people. He actually managed to win the hearts of the people. They loved him because he would go, and we have people like that, even in our organizations, even here in church. The leadership makes decisions. Somebody is seated in that leadership. He goes out to start telling other people, huyu chairman ingekuwa mimi.
Ningefanya.
Yes, there are people who do that. There are people who do that.
You're undermining someone's
Yes.
authority.
You sit
That
with
is
people
clearly
in the same.
undermining
You sit
someone's
with
authority.
people in the same desk, same table. Make a decision. Decide on something. They might be disagree to that decision. We say majority have their way, minority have their say. Disagree respectfully, but there are guys who go and after they have disagreed with the decision and the decision has passed, when they go out they start saying, had I been the chair,
Had
I been the
I
church
wouldn't
chair.
have made that decision.
That's bad.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
That is so evil. And I think ilo inatu expose to of our evil nature.
Yes, I've told you,
Inatu expose to very loudly.
if you take things seriously, it's jokes.
Ni jokes. Kila
Defer
kitu
to
ni
the king.
jokes.
The king can be wrong, and on many occasions they are
okay.
wrong. It is okay to be wrong.
Again, you don't expect us to be right every
Yes,
time.
when they are wrong, follow them. Find diplomatic ways, of dealing with the issue, of talking to them, of getting them to change. If they don't, accept, move on. There are things you cannot do when you don't have that throne. There are things you can't. Accept your limitations.
Yeah.
Part of I tell people to be stoic. You know, stoics were
Stoicism.
yes, stoics. They say stoic people. They say that you only concentrate on the things that you can change.
Yeah.
You don't belabor about the things you can't change. The things you can't change. You can't change who is the president. You cannot change.
At least not right
At least not right
now.
now.
At least not right now.
Yeah. So you have found yourself in this situation. Deal with it. Maneuver. Sometimes we sit and how many, if you go to the Bible, how many, the children of Israel had so many kings.
Yeah.
Do you know how many were good kings?
Aye, very few.
3.
Very
Less than
few.
5.
Oh no.
David was a good king. What did David do? Tutamdiscuss Daudi alifanya nini. Nilikwambia tuko na chai, niko na chai ya Daudi.
And we're serving hot.
He was a man after God's own heart.
heart.
But what sins did David commit? We're not justifying his sins.
Yeah.
But we are telling you that even the best of the people have their own skeletons.
A lot of them.
A lot.
So dead.
Solomon, Suleimani. Suleimani was the wisest king.
With 1,000 wives.
Imagine this guy.
Thou.
This guy. Ako kwa Guinness Book of Records. Is there anyone who has ever surpassed?
1,000.
Yes, you see. So don't. There are things you cannot control. Sometimes you cannot control what the king does. The king can be foolish. We have foolish kings. We have people in authority who are foolish. But what you can't control, don't bother you. Pray for them. Pray for them.
God knows our change.
Or get a vote.
Yeah.
Gen Z, get a vote.
Very important.
Vote. Don't start crying in Twitter. Get a vote.
Tulie tu sahi lakini 2027.
This time what to vote.
Twende tu tulie
Hata
tena.
mimi I am so motivated to go to the ballot.
Me too.
I'm so
Me too.
motivated to go and vote.
Me
I think hata mimi I think if all goes well this time voter turnout would be very good.
Kuna za watu tutaficha.
We only need 3 million Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Above 3 million Gen Zs. You have 3 million kwa kuvote. Mtakuwa na say. Mzuri. So come and vote.
That's the only way you can change
who
your leader is.
You cannot dethrone the leader unconstitutionally. Even if today you tried to overthrow you cannot do it unconstitutionally.
Yeah.
What will happen to the country after? We have seen other countries that have been coups have happened successfully. Other than the recent one here, Niger. Those countries end up in bad state. Because guys just go to remove the president.
Yeah.
But they have no plan.
There's no plan.
I told you don't win by accident. No accident.
You win at
you
the
don't just
table.
get a good country like that.
Yeah.
So be motivated to have a say in who is in authority. But never outshine the man or woman in authority. Don't outshine them. Always defer to them. Always respect them. Rise the ranks slowly. Learn. When you see a foolish king, learn from them. There's something to learn from everyone. Learn from people's stupidity. Learn from their wisdom. Because stupidity teaches you what not to do. Wisdom teaches you what to do. So sit down. Everyone is a teacher. Their lives are teachers. There are people who shut down. When you get to a point, I told you, the most dangerous words you can ever use is the words I know.
Oh, because you don't.
Yeah.
You know nothing.
You know nothing.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing.
When you think you know, the day you think you know, remember this, you know nothing. You know nothing. Do that. Always go into situations. That's what I do. I've been accused of being very liberal. Because boss, I read everything.
Ndio maana ushtuki.
I read everything if I hold the Quran like this, I will read it.
Yeah.
I read everything and anything. I am interested in what people say. Sometimes I read books that are not necessarily Christian.
Yeah.
And I get something from them.
There's always something.
But the day that you think you know nothing, Jon Snow.
That is when you'll discover you know nothing.
That's when you discover you know nothing. That's the end of... That's where you die. You start dying when you think you know. There is always someone more knowledgeable than you. There is always someone... Even, I've told you, even in foolishness. Learn from people's foolishness. Learn what not to do.
In their foolishness.
Ignorance is bliss.
Hey, yeah. It's bliss.
Ignorance is bay.
It's bliss because okay. This has been an interesting road. It's a bitter thing to swallow.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to dimming your light.
Yeah.
So that someone else can shine.
Dim it.
But you said it's for a while.
Yeah.
And it's for
a very short while.
It's a very short while.
Dim it. Get into that position of authority. Use it for good. I'm not saying be cunning.
No.
Just don't outshine. I'm not telling people to be cunning. If you interpret this as telling you to be cunning, are you wise?
Wacha kutusikiliza because that's not our message.
We are telling you, dim your light. But anyway, there is an exception to the law, and I'll tell you about the exception. Dim the light. Let your leader shine brighter than you. As a matter of fact, doesn't Philippians tell us to consider others better than ourselves? Isn't that what the Bible tells us?
Umemaliza sasa.
Yes. Dim your light kidogo. Yes. Let the other guy shine when in authority. Don't embarrass them. If you have anything to object to what they say, defer to them individually, or don't do that. Don't embarrass them in public, and you will attain the heights of power.
Yeah, and object to them with grace.
Now, the exemptions. This is just a very simple exemption. It is a law with a very simple exemption. There are those people in authority that whatever you do will outshine them.
Whatever existing umeamka tu
wamechapa tu mbaya, yani wamechapa ile design, anything you do however simple in our outshine.
Nimeamka tu nimeenda kazi.
They are a sinking star, they are falling star. We have such people, they are on their way to the ground. Such people, don't worry about outshining them. They are going down.
Their light is
when their light is already dim, you cannot make it shine any brighter. Wacha anguke.
You shine your way.
Wacha anguke nayo.
Wacha ta izimike.
Yes, wacha izimike.
Oh, okay.
Inaweza zimika. You measure the situation.
Yeah.
If it is someone who is naturally insecure, you've tried and it is not working, they are lazy, and you are a hard-working person, outshine them.
Continue to do it.
They are a sinking star, a falling star. They are a building a house of cards. They are going to come tumbling down as you watch.
Yeah.
Ile ya Bible ile behold. Right in front of the very own eyes. Wataanguka.
Yeah.
Let them fall. There's another non-Christian way that Robert Greene says of accelerating their fall.
Oh.
Don't do this as a Christian.
No, wait.
It is there. Bring the book. Let me show you.
Accelerating the fall, like make it quicker.
Make it quicker.
No shine.
Reversal. Let me read this paragraph.
Okay.
But disclaimer. Don't do
not
this.
Advised.
Don't
do this at home.
Do not do this. This one is San Christian. It's not good.
Yeah.
It is evil. You become a statistic of the wickedness of this world. Don't do this. You cannot worry about upsetting every person you come across, but you must be selectively cruel. That's what he says.
Selectively.
Yeah. If your superior is a falling star, there is nothing to fear from outshining him. Do not be merciful. Your master had no such scruples in his own cold-blooded climb to the top. So anasema hata yeye pia aliangusha watu ndio afike huko. You have nothing to fear. Hata yako jali. There's a reason why he's at the top.
There is a reason why he's there. So it wouldn't hurt if you also did the same against him.
Yeah. Gauge his strength.
Gauge.
By the way, there's a saying that says, if you aim at the king, make sure you don't miss.
Because missing is...
If you aim at the king, make sure you don't miss. Yeah. If you miss, you're dead.
You're dead.
There is only one shot at the king. When the king is your target, when your boss is your target, when your CEO, when your director, when your superior, when your pastor, when your leader is your target, make sure you don't miss. If you miss, you're gone. So actually, the advice here is don't aim at the king. Unless you can hit him. Unless
you're sure.
Unless you can hit him, yes.
Umekuwa na mkutano ukasema I can do this.
Unless you can hit him, don't aim. He continues and says, gauge his strength. If he is weak, discreetly hasten his downfall. We don't advise this.
No.
But that is what
it's just wicked. That is just so wicked.
Discreetly hasten his downfall.
His fall.
Outdo, outcharm, outsmart him at key moments.
Out everything him.
Outdo, outcharm, outsmart him at key moments. If he is very weak and ready to fall, let nature take its course.
No.
Let nature take its course. Do not risk outshining a feeble superior. It might appear cruel or spiteful, but if your master is firm in his position, if he is firm, yet you know yourself to be more capable, bide your time and be patient. It is the natural course of things that power eventually fades and weakens.
Sure.
Your master will fall someday. And if you play it right, you will outlive and someday outshine him. So he gives advice.
He tells you to hasten it.
Yes, he gives advice mbaya. Advice mbaya ni kuhasten. Now that one means you become cruel, conniving, carnivorous.
No.
Malingerous.
That is not it.
That means you'll be conniving. But there is one that says if he's very weak and ready to fall, let nature take its course.
Yeah.
Tim is falling anyway. He will fall.
He will fall.
And
Be
he
patient.
says power fades. Even though we are talking about power, power is not the end. The end in itself.
Ni vanity.
It's all vanity. Yote ni vanity. So even that power that you hold, oh CEO, oh leader, it is fading. As time goes by, it will fade. Somebody's gonna take it. So that is what we have on Outshining.
Tumemaliza Loan.
Loan
It
number.
was so interesting. That was so interesting. I like how we really brought out the biblical
Examples.
bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shows you that there's literally nothing new under the sun. 1660s. Nicolas Fouquet and Akina Joseph were still doing these things. So, tumemaliza Loan. It has been exciting. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope our audience has enjoyed. My name is Tracy. Hatuja change. This is Silas. And let's meet again when we discuss another law. So goodbye. Stay safe and make sure you've subscribed to our channel. So thank you so much and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Peace.